Hi, I'm Trevor from ghd-repair.co.uk. Today we are going to look at a new product, and this is a dressed thermistor. This part controls the temperature on most of the GHD models from the 4.0 upwards, including the thin arm MS straighteners and the wider SS straighteners. So all the way from 4.0 up to the current Mark V, the Eclipse and Platinum and new Gold models are not repairable and do not use these parts. So as I say, only for models 4.0 up to and including the Mark V. So the thermistor can be responsible for a continuous bleeping, it can be responsible for dead symptoms, and it can also cause the irons to overheat and blow the thermal fuse. So if your thermal fuse is damaged, and it looks like this, and it is fitted to the switch side arm, this thermistor is fitted on the non-switch side arm. So if you've got a blown thermal fuse, it's always worth changing the thermistor after checking for other causes of the failure. This is all covered on other videos, and we're only talking about this new thermistor today that's fully dressed, tinned, and is ready to fit, and I'm just going to cover how you fit it. So you can, if you've got the old element that you have the faulty thermistor on, you'll find it's got this sort of black brittle glue that was applied to it originally. The thermistor has probably broken away as you took this apart, and what you can do is simply use a sharp edged implement like this little flat jeweler screwdriver. You can scrape off the old glue. You would then place this in place. You need to glue it in place with high temperature silicone. This is available on eBay. It's something that I am considering stocking, but at the moment that is not available directly from us, but it is available from eBay. So how do we fix this? So the first thing to do is just pop a little bit of super glue just where the little plastic heat shrink sleeving is going to touch. There's a thicker piece of heat shrink just from here to here. Where that gets a little bit thicker just here, you need to have that off the edge of the iron, of the element, so just there. So I would then hold that in place for a few seconds. Now if it doesn't bond except to your fingers, then you're going to have to remove the little bit of silicone that is here. Just a sharp blade and a little slice, and you can remove a little bit of that silicone sealant that is just protecting the wires going into the heater. And again, we'll just pop a little bit of super glue in there, and we'll try again. The idea is to try and get those two thin wires just into that gap, with the thicker heat shrink tubing just hanging off of the edge of the element. Right, so that's bonded this time. The next thing you've got to make sure of is that the little thermistor bead, the little glass bead, is in contact with the element, which it is here. At that point you will get your silicone sealant. Again, this is a heat transferring compound and heat resistant, obviously. This goes up to 280 degrees, this particular one, and you will just apply a small blob to the bead and just a little blob on there as well. and you need to leave that to set for 24 hours, and you'll find that that will sink in and spread out, as you can see it has on these other examples. So just put that to one side overnight, and in the morning you'll be ready to fit it back into the irons, and we're just going to cover that now. So you will end up with this arrangement. The wires are tinned. Do bear in mind that the wires are thicker than the original wires, and you will not be able to poke these through the circuit board, but that is not a concern, and I'll show you now. You would apply thermal paste evenly all the way over the back of the element. I'm not going to do it with this because I want to put this back into stock once this video is completed. So you would apply thermal paste to the back. You would then slide it backwards and forwards just to bed it in. The heater clip goes back over. You'll often find that the silicon blob with the thermistor inside lines up quite nicely with that metal bar that goes across there. So if you are making your own assembly up, just check the positioning of everything and make sure that bar is in fact going over the silicon and the thermistor. It just helps hold it all in place. So the next thing you're going to do is feed 2 thermistor wires and one of the eyelets through one hole of the silicon piece and the other piece through like that. So you've got 3 wires coming through one and one through the other side. At that point you can just clip in your mount. In this case I want this to be dismantled, so I'm just using one of the type 2 mounts that uses the metal clips to hold it in place. If you've got a type 1 mount, you will just press the mount over and click it into place. Normally you would pop your silicon pieces back in, make sure the the heat resistant pad is in there, and just slide that in. Now that you'll find there's plenty of wire here, and that is so you can get a couple of bends in it as you screw this back into place, and that is to allow for a little bit of up and down movement and flexing of the wire, and that is less likely to break off at the element end or this end because of those couple of curves. The curves will bend slightly and take some of the strain off the very ends of the wire. So we're just going to screw the element connections back in place. Again, just bend it down and in, and that gives that nice double bend so the wire can flex more easily. Now same with this, you can just tuck that into there like so, and then with tweezers and a hot soldering iron you can apply, if there's not much solder left, just a little blob of solder quickly onto the contact point. What you must not do is heat this up a lot and let the solder run through the hole in the board, and it will gather underneath, and if that happens you can short out these 2 terminals because you've put too much too much solder on there. At this point, actually I haven't tinned it. I'm trying to see if they're tinned. Normally when these are supplied they will have been tinned, just a little bit of solder applied, but I haven't done it on this one. So they will arrive like that to you, a little bit of solder on there, so you just hold it in place, make sure it's facing down the board, just apply some heat, quick blow, a few seconds later, and that is in place. Again, other side, make sure it is pointing straight down the board, prop it over the soldered contact, a little bit of heat, and that is a job done. There is a silicon piece that will go back in here, and then you can reassemble this, and that is done. So yes, you can either apply the new thermistor, if you've bought it on your own, to the current ceramic heater, or you can buy the element and thermistor already fitted, and that's pretty much it. You'll find that the new thermistor we've chosen is very accurate. It will give you a temperature of around 186 degrees, which is exactly where it should be. As I say, do not try and feed these wires through the hole, just simply solder them on top like that. That is not a problem whatsoever. There is more of a pad on the other side, and some of the other circuit boards have quite a large pad. This is a slightly different one. You can see the two solder pads, they're quite large. On this one they are quite small, but it will the thermistor will happily solder to either type, and it's not a problem. So that's it. So I hope that helps. You'll find the new thermistor on the website, and you'll find the new thermistor attached to the elements also on the website, and we have also made available the wider plate the wider plate ceramic heater, again with the thermistor already attached if you don't want to do it yourself. Hope that helps, and we'll catch you later.